Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over something that I've wanted to do for quite some time now, and that is going to be what I think are my rarest Pokemon within Pokemon Go. So without further ado, let's get the screen recording up. So as you can see, kicking things off here, we have one of my 3 0% IVs, which if you don't know what that is, it's 0 IVs. Each of these 3 stats can go up to 15 from 0, and a 0% is when obviously there's 0. Now you can't search for these. You have to do 0 attack, 0 defense, and 0 HP. You can't do things like 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. So they're pretty rare to find. You can only find them in the wild without weather boost. So they're rarer than Shundos, they're rarer than Hundos, etc., etc. So that's one of 3. Moving on, we've got this guy, which was the Pokemon Go 5-year anniversary Balloon Pikachu. This could be shiny at a 1 in 450 to 1 in 512 shiny rate. I may be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway, this came with the exclusive move Fly. And the difference between this one and a regular Balloon Pikachu is this one of the balloons is a giant 5, as you can see there. This was only available for a week or so for the 5th anniversary, and now we're within 6 years of the game, so. Coming up next, we've got a more recent Shiny Shadow, the Shiny Shadow Charmander. Now, I know Charmander line isn't super rare, and these are about a 1 in 64-ish shiny rate. But I got this on the last day that this particular one was available for that rotation. So if you don't know, the Shadow Shinies rotate out periodically. Like right now we have Shiny Shadow Beldum, Shiny Shadow Magnemite, and Shiny Shadow Nidoran and Male. So prior to this wave, Charmander was available from Arlo, who right now has the Nidoran. But I am only free radars. I do not buy these. I only do them free. So I have a couple Shiny Shadows, which we'll see more of them later on in here. But this one I got on the last day of it being available, but not the last chance that day. I got it at, I think, like 4:30 something from a stop, and leaders spawn until 10 p.m. each day. Not counting the balloons because those go different, but. So anyway, there's that. We'll see more Shiny Shadows as we go on here. Just like this one, the Shiny Shadow Bagon. No, I actually wasn't hunting for this. I was actually hunting for decent IV Shadow Bagon for Shadow Salamence, which is the #1 dragon type in the game. And in doing so, I got this guy, which it's a Shiny Shadow. They're always rare because, like I said, they're not available at the same times. Then we have my only Shadow Hundo. Now, if you're wondering what this 2650 here is, that's how many Shadow encounters I've had before I got this. Now, honestly, I could purify this, so it would still be a Hundo. But in most cases, you don't want to do that. Because Shadows, if you don't know, they get a 20% attack damage boost at the cost of minus 20% defense. So in most situations for things like Metagross, Salamence, Tyranitar, you want that better attack because it'll do more damage per DPS, damage per second. But I've done thousands of rockets, Team Go Rocket, whatever you want to call them, and this is the only Shadow Hundo I've gotten. So by far, this is one of my rarest Pokemon, hands down, because these are not easy to get. Then we've got another Shiny Shadow. This is my Shiny Shadow Grimer. Alolan Grimer is not available at the current moment from Rocket Leaders. Only the Cantonian one, and this hasn't been available for quite some time now. Now we've got a potential bug. So during last year's Fashion Week event, we had Shanks with the top hat, as you can see here. But they also made the shiny version have the top hat too, and thus the purified version too, which we'll see here in a second. Now, they have never stated whether or not this is intentional or a bug, and we have had a couple other Pokemon that have shadows and hats wear these hats, the most recent one being Shadow Raticate. But because since these have come out, they haven't patched the amount of accounts. They haven't tweeted that it was intentional or unintentional. So at the current moment, they're rare because you can't get them anymore because they were event only for specific things. But we may never know if these were actually intentional or not. So then we've got a Shiny Shadow Beldum. This, as you can see from the date, was not from this rotation. I have 2 of these. Technically, I need 1 more to get all 3 for the family, but I'm going more for the IVs because Shadow Metagross with Meteor Mash, its Calm Day move, is the best steel type for like years. I don't even think any of the Ultra Beasts beat it. Like, it's that good. So this is another one like the Bagon. I was just doing these for decent ones to get, to power up and use and whatever. And I've got this one and then one other one that we'll see later on. Now this is, obviously you may be seeing this and think, oh, Cherubi's not rare. Why is this in here? Well, it's rare in this game. Because in this game, Cherubi is not wild at all. Cherim sometimes has been, but base Cherubi, you can't get in the wild. The only way to get Cherubi is through a Mossy lure. And you're not guaranteed to get one when you use one. And this is when I got this shiny, it was during an event where it was wild, but rare. Because the shiny debuted. But ever since then, it has not been in the wild. And even prior to that event, it wasn't wild. So I like the Spinda. This one is rare because of how you have to get it. Then we've got these fun guys. Squirtle Squad Squirtle. So if you don't know, in the anime, Ash's Squirtle wears sunglasses. It's a whole thing. But when we had the very first Squirtle Community Day way back when, there was a chance that you could do research encounters from Pokestops that had Squirtles with sunglasses on as a way to honor that. Obviously, it's not the same sunglasses. And obviously, as you can see here, these ones could be shiny at the time. These have come back one other time since for some Ed Sheeran crossover partnership thing. But the catch with these ones was during this community day, if a stop gave a shiny one to somebody, that same quest was shiny for everyone that claimed it. When it came back for the Ed Sheeran thing, that was not the case. These were base full odds, 1 in 450 to 1 in 512. But this one was a calm day rate, which is about 1 in 25 to 1 in 30, depending on circumstances and time frames and all of that. But at the time, we didn't know that they were guaranteed for everybody. I mean, some people pieced it together throughout the day, but they never outright said, hey, this stop is shiny for everybody, go, go, go. And we didn't even know they were going to do this at the time. So this neat little nostalgia piece for anime fans and super rare collector's item, because like I said, they've only been back once and they were a full odd shiny then. So here's another shiny shadow that's been out previously that hasn't come back in some time. Shiny Shadow Sneasel. Which, if you don't know, Shadow Weavile is a really solid ice type, but it's better off in the dark type category. So it's another one like the Beldum, like the Bagon. You want to get it for a candy and obviously try to get a good one for that 20% attack boost. But at the time, it could also be shiny. So as you can see here, I managed to get one of those. Here's one of my other three 0%. This one I got on the Rock and Roll Community Day from my incense. And like I said, 0%. You can't get them. It can only be wild. They cannot be a Weather Boost because Weather Boost is an IV of 4. So if you get a Weather Boost in Mon, you can have one that's 4. And that can't go any lower. So you can't get them from research. You can't get them from eggs. You can't get them from raids. You can only get them in the wild if they aren't Weather Boosted. Then we've got a Shiny Shadow Growlithe. Obviously, if you haven't seen the Spin to Short, go check that out. It's linked. It's a card. It's in the description. It's somewhere. If you have seen it, then obviously you know why this is in here. Because when I'm recording this on the 15th of February, I got this on Valentine's Day, which was the last day for this year that it's been available. It won't be available again until Valentine's Day 2024. So again, if you haven't seen that short, go check it out. It's a rare shiny, and it's not available on like other Spindaforms. Here's something some people may not know about Pikachu Libre. Now, unfortunately, I got this one before it was able to be shiny. So this one was this one is pre even rank 20 GBL stuff. This was back when GBL, the Go Battle League, only went up to rank 10. And the only way to get this particular Pokemon is through the Go Battle League. It has a 1 in something, and it might be boosted, but it might also be full odds. I don't think there's been concrete data for that yet. Now, you might be wondering why there's not enough data for it to know its shiny rate. Because A, it's only been shiny chance for a couple of seasons now. And B, you can only get one Pikachu Libre per Go Battle League season. So if you get to the Legend rank, and you do your battle, get your Pikachu, which you have to win the next set to get, and it's not shiny, that's it. You can't get another chance until the next season comes. And then you also obviously have to get to Legend, which involves getting to rank 20, getting through Expert, getting through Ace, Veteran, all that stuff from rank 0. So there are some people that have them. Most people don't because of that. Plus, it's the Go Battle League, which, if you haven't played it, I'm just going to save you some time. Don't bother. But anyway, so I have one of those from before the rank 20 Go Battle update. So that's rare because of that. Because now it's like, oh, you got a Pikachu Libre, cool, whatever. Because everyone's is the same because it's before level 20. But this one is rarer because of the date. Because I got this back before rank 20 existed. So, and it does have, well, this one doesn't. Why doesn't this one? Okay, come on. Okay, I'll just show you. As you can see right there, it does get Flying Press. You do not need an Elite TM for that. I'm only doing this to save myself 20 minutes to an hour. So that's the one thing with that. It does have Flying Press like all other, like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, like Pokken Tournament, all that stuff. But so you have to play the TM roulette to get it. Then we've got my, at the moment, only completed Shiny Shadow set. Shiny Shadow Scyther. So this one is just my base Scyther. I do have a Shiny Shadow Scizor in here that you'll see later. And then I also have another Shiny Shadow Scyther that I'm hoping will be able to be evolved into Cleavor when that comes. Who knows when that'll be. So this is my only to-date completed fully Shiny Shadow family. And again, this hasn't been available for quite some time. And here's my final 0%. Just a Buizel. No special move or anything. It's just a Buizel, but like I said, 0% super rare. So if you have any, definitely keep them. If you have a shiny one, then flex it down below in the comments. Then we got the Shiny Shadow Amistar. I did evolve this from an Ammonite to complete my shiny line at the time. Because at the time I had this and then a regular Ammonite. This one hasn't been available for ages. This is the only Shiny Gen 1, no, Shiny Shadow Fossil period to date that can be shiny. No, scratch it, Aerodactyl is the thing. So Aerodactyl and Amistar are the only fossils right now that can be shiny. I never got the Aerodactyl, but I did get the Amistar. Then this guy. Now, if you haven't seen, I didn't include it in the video because I wasn't recording Go stuff at the time, but I got this guy when I was in Atlantis with my family. I have a whole playlist for videos on that up on the channel. I'll link that here and down below or something. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Great videos. They're old, but that was a great trip. I couldn't play much during that anyway, just because of that and other stuff. But I was able to play a little bit, and this was my Pokédex Heracross. I was able to get into one area where I could put a lure down on Wi-Fi. And this was the very last thing that spawned on the lure. So obviously this is the only Pokemon I've kept from there. But, and plus, I'm in the part of the US that can't get Heracross. I know like Florida and stuff can, but I'm not in Florida. So even though it's not a shiny or it's not a zero or hundo or something, just because of the significance to me of where I got it from, to me personally, that makes it one of my rarest mons. And then this is the purified version of the Shadow Patch Shanks that I showed earlier. Again, we don't know if these were intentional or not. They have not clarified at the time of recording. And then obviously the Squirtle with the sunglasses, it could evolve. So this is my shiny sunglasses Wartortle. And then this unknown was from the Ultra Unlock. Now, if you're not familiar, this Ultra Unlock gave the ability to hatch unknown from 10-kilometer eggs, but the rates for them were awful. It was, like at the time, they were, like they were about as rare as Dino was when that debuted as a shiny, if not rarer. Like hatching these was not an easy task. And somehow I hit the lottery and hatched this from one egg. Obviously, it's unknown A, that's why it's named A. But as you can see down here, received as an egg. This was before they updated eggs to show when they were hatched and all that. But this was an unknown from a 10K. Okay, there we are. Obviously, unknowns are not that big of a deal. They're in Safari Zones and Go Fest and tours and all that stuff. But this was back when before those were really things. So, 10-kilometer unknown, super rare. And this was the Explorer Pikachu from the Secrets of the Jungle tie-in crossover event. This was a full odd shiny. And I'm not going to get into all my shiny costume Pikachus. That can be another video at some point. But this one's here because unlike some of those where they'll come back with slight variations or whatever, this was a tie-in for a movie that has since long been released. And the chance of them bringing this Pikachu back specifically are very slim, if at all. So that's why he's in here. Or she, I guess. That's why this Pikachu's in here. There's the IV as well. And this is the Safari Zone Pikachu. This is in here because this Pikachu, unlike the other costumes ones, is exclusive to the Safari Zone events. I got mine back during the Safari Zone Philadelphia. And then obviously, I have my Heart Furfurs in here because as of recording this, the availability for those ended yesterday this year. So at the time of recording, you cannot get these anymore until Valentine's Day next year or week, whatever they do the event duration for. So if you haven't seen those shorts, those are also on the channel, so make sure you go check those out. And this guy is in here because if you don't know, this Feel is an officially licensed Pokemon Center merch plush item, whatever you want to call it. But for the Pokemon Go event, the Christmas one, it had a shiny chance at full odds, 1 in 450 to 1 in 512. I went crazy trying to get this thing. And then I finally did after watching other people get it. Striking out, getting everything else practically. So when I got this, it was an instant, I'm best buddying this, I'm making it level 50. This is one of my favorite personal costumes. Because I started the franchise with Gen 3. So anything that's from Hoenn, it has that extra nostalgia to me. So that's why this guy's in here. And then here is the Blastoise with the sunglasses from the Com Day. There's the other Furfru. Again, go check out those videos if you haven't seen them. Here's the Scizor I was talking about. And then this is my first ever Shundo. I got this from the 2021 Go Fest off of the Incense, obviously as a Ferroseed. This was awesome. This was my first ever Shundo, my first ever Incense Shundo, my first ever shiny Ferroseed, my first Hundo Ferroseed. So this was an instant start maxing it because I didn't have the XL candy at the time, so I had to buddy this thing. Super fun. I loved it. I almost lost this thing to a speed cap because I was traveling when it spawned, but thankfully I didn't. And then this is my second Shundo. I got this one last year during the December recap from Field Research. And I really wish I'd recorded it. Because I tapped the stop, completed the encounter, claimed it. It's like, oh, it's a Starly, whatever. 308, that seems high. And it's probably a 90 or something. Then I caught it, and obviously, Shundo. I got this to Best Buddy a couple weeks ago. And obviously I have it second moved. Same with the Ferrothorn. These are my only Shundos at the moment. Hopefully I'll get more. Whether that's from a raid or whatever, I don't care. What the Pokemon is, I don't care. They're not the rarest things in the game, because obviously that'd be a shiny 0. But Shundos are so fun to get. Regardless of what they are, if it's useful or not. They're so fun. And then this is the other Beldum I was talking about. It's not the best stats, but again, the 20% attack boost, the stats don't really matter. A 0% shadow is still better than a hundo non-shadow. Obviously, this one has... And this is named Meta Beast because, like I said, Shadow Metagross is the #1 steel attacker for, like, at the moment, the end of time. Dialga doesn't beat it. I don't think the Ultra Beast beat it. Solgaleo doesn't beat it, etc. Maybe something in Gen 8 or 9 will, but at the moment, nothing does. Not even Mega Metagross. And Sierra does have Beldums at the current moment of recording this, so make sure you guys go and grind those. 220 is the non-boosted hundo, and 362 is the boosted hundo. Boosted in snow and cloudy weather. And that's it, so... Like I say, if you guys have any Shundos or anything that you guys think is rare, put them down below. I'm very curious to see. And with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you did for more, and I'll catch you next time.